Welcome in, guys. It's Hail to the Podcast, brought to you by Maize Blue Review, part of the On3 network. You can find us searching On3 Maize Blue Review. Sign up now. $1 only for the first week trial before annual kicks in, or you can pay monthly as well. No better time to join, obviously, as the football season is right around the corner, and that's what we're here to talk about today. We are going to talk football. Yes, if you want information on the Michigan COI decision, the appeal, intel on that, you can head over to maizenbluereview.com. We have articles all over the place, and the message board community that Dan has been talking about it as well. But today, we're talking football. A couple weeks to go until Michigan kicks off the season against New Mexico. Fall camp chugging along. We have a lot of information this time around. Good combination of the staff being very candid, some good intel, and I think this team is starting to take shape. So we're going to talk about it. I'm Trevor McCue, senior editor, Maize Blue Review, joined as always, Intel, insider, publisher, Maize Blue Review man himself, Mr. Josh Henschke. That Tigers cap is fire, sir.
Yes. Had to rep the Tigers today, just for no particular reason other than I get a haircut and don't want to show my hair off. So, yeah, let's talk football. I'm excited.
Let's talk football. We're gonna get into, I think, some position battles that have really started to, I don't want to say clear up, but there's some clear winners, not losers, but there's some clear people taking leads, some good things happening on both sides of the ball. And I think there's some good debate to be had about what this team's going to look like come this year in terms of rotation and the depth that they have. There's a lot of it. I think that's a very common thing. There's a lot of depth this year, but we're excited to get into it. Screw it. Let's get out of the way. We got a question. Quick answer. Percentage terms. How confident are you on Savion Hyder committing in 2 days?
Yeah, that kind of got lost in the shuffle there.
I know. Yeah, by the way, the number one recruiting target for Michigan committing in a couple days. So
yeah,
there we go.
I mean, I'm not really too shy of saying it. I'm about like 75%, to be honest with you. You could talk me into going higher. I think Michigan's going to be the choice. And I think Michigan's been the choice for quite some time.
Agreed.
Barring some sort of last minute weird Calvin Russell type of situation, which I don't think is going to happen. I think Hyder picks Michigan, and I think it's been that way for a long time. It's just kind of getting that out of the way. So, I'm expecting good news on what is it, Tuesday? Yeah, on Tuesday. We'll just have to see how it shakes out. But I mean, at this point, really, if when you ask people around the recruitment, it would be a bit of a shit. Well, not a bit of a shock, but it'd be a lot of a shock if he didn't get Michigan.
It's been a weird recruitment from a coverage standpoint because they've been so quiet about it deliberately. This is a player in Savion Hyder and a family and a camp that has gone about their business the way they've gone about it. I respect it. Very deliberate and intentional. And, you brought up the Calvin Russell comparison. I think you mean in terms of like a late surprise or push from the other side, but this is not a Calvin Russell recruitment by any means. Michigan has made the most sense for a long time. I'm with you. I'd be surprised if it's not Michigan. And you know what? Talk about that running back room. Actually, look at this. Let's segue. We always go depth chart straight down. Let's go running backs first. Okay. Sure. Because look, we know Justice Haynes, Jordan Marshall. I bet Bama wishes they had Justin Haynes right now, by the way. Awful news there. I don't mean to make light of the situation, by the way. That was kind of lame. Sorry. But yeah, obviously they have an injury. Haynes, who, man, it feels like he's been here forever, doesn't it? Yeah. It's so weird. He's just such a good fit. It feels like he's been here the whole time. Haynes and Marshall, 1A, 1B. These two really, really like each other, get along, are totally ready to complement each other. It's going to be a good fit. It's going to be a good fit. I'm going to Law and Order until somebody comes up with a better nickname. I think that's fantastic.
I don't think there is going to be a better nickname. I think it's classic.
The pecking order after them. Look, the RB3 role is probably not going to be significant. We hope it's not significant because that means there's an injury. Probably not going to be huge this year. I don't know if it's going to be a situational type thing or just a guy that's getting 5 carries a game or how that's going to be, but there hasn't been a lot of clarity on that. We posted some intel. but get into this a little bit. Micah Kaapana, speed back. Bryson Kuzdal. Why is the extra Z there?
I don't know.
Okay, it's just Kuzdal.
Ask
right.
His relatives.
This is not his fault. This is my fault and my brain that reads only phonetically, but obviously huge spring game. He's translated that into a good fall. And freshman Jasper Parker arrived this fall. Sounds like he's right in the thick of it and might be getting some early carries this year.
Yeah. He had a really good day in the scrimmage yesterday that we're told. Players just really like his aggressive style of running. He runs, I guess the way they call it, he runs hard, which, fits really well into kind of the blueprint of what a successful Michigan running back has looked like the last couple of years. Just a hard runner that's tough to bring down. So, it's a really dynamic room, but also very similar. It's kind of a weird dichotomy there because both Haynes and Marshall are physical runners, but they're not. They are the same, but they're not the same. It almost doesn't make sense to say that, but I mean, there's no doubt about it in my mind that they have the possibility of being the best running back tandem in college football. And that's
what's your cat doing?
Oh, he's a weirdo. I don't know.
Sorry. There he is.
Yeah. I wonder what he does half the time anyway. So I just love that tandem because they can do so much for you. And man,
like I like that they're similar. I like that it's not going to be, we're doing this type of play. This back goes in.
Right.
Whoever's in can do whatever Chip Lindsey wants. It's not going to affect the play calling. We're not going to have a guy for this spot and a guy for this spot. I like that a lot. I like that it's people have been talking about it right up the road. Detroit Lions, easy to compare there. And I know Montgomery's a little bit more of a bruiser and Gibbs is a different style, but like there's your blueprint right there.
Yep. I really think it's not like they're not carbon copies of each other. So you're not basically like taking out, Justice Haynes and copying, pasting him with Jordan Marshall. I think, he's dynamic in his own right, but if things go to plan in terms of the scoreboard and such, I mean, you should be allowed to dip into your depth chart a little bit and see what you have. And it's almost like you don't miss a beat. I mean, Michigan hasn't missed a beat with its running back room in I don't know, a decade. It's getting close to a decade at this point. It's so you just hope at this point that the offensive line can create the holes needed for these guys to do their thing. I mean, obviously you'd like a running back that can create something out of nothing, but it helps you so much more if you're able to have guys up front that can kind of pave the way for you. So both Haynes and Marshall, I mean, it kind of depends on whether, where they value guys more in certain situations. Like if it's a 3rd and goal situation and on the 1 yard line, are you putting Haynes out there to punch it in, or are you putting Marshall in there to punch it in? I guess, or does it not matter?
Yeah, I hope it doesn't matter. I mean, there's enough clips in Haynes' history that show he can do it. Marshall, I think, is a guy that can do it. Yeah. Haynes is probably the more likely of the two if you are going to have a short yardage situation, but
that's what kind of where I'm at too. I think Haynes is probably going to be the guy, but man, the more talent you can build out on the running back room, the better. I mean, there is depth. We don't really know what that depth looks like. Kaapana had a couple of plays last year involved late, but I mean, the fact that he kind of evolved late was good. I think, with the 4-game redshirt rule, it kind of allows you to kind of go deeper into your depth chart without, having any consequences of playing these guys. So, and especially early, New Mexico. I mean, you're probably going to see a bunch of new faces in anyway. But man, if you were to believe what people are saying about Jasper Parker, then at some point he's going to take RB3 snaps this year, whether it's early, middle, late, not really sure, but he's really come on the last couple of weeks. And yesterday he had a really good day. So I think he's really kind of pushing those, the Kuzdals, the Kapanas and all those guys that are on the depth chart as well.
And not to look too much ahead to next year, but I mean, you hope Justice Haynes goes to the NFL because that means he had a great year. Yeah. And Jordan Marshall was a guy they wanted to probably get on the field. They did get him out there for 4 games, but it was mostly special teams after his injury. I mean, that's a guy you would have loved to get some running back carries to last year. Now that he's going to be a starter this season, obviously he has the full start against Alabama in the bowl game, but getting Parker some run this year with him likely taking a bigger role next year would be great, but also it can probably help the team. Jason, you brought up, 30 to 50, 40 to 50 carries in terms of Michigan and Lindsay. I think that's probably a good number, but I mean, that's 3-4 carries a game. It's not much, right? So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. So are you kidding me? Marshall is the better short yardage, stay on schedule back of the duo.
Well, we don't really know that.
We don't know that, and I have way more info on what Haynes did at Marshall. And
you have a whole year of Haynes.
Yeah.
Doing this.
I am so excited for Jordan Marshall. You and I have been the president of the Jordan Marshall fan club since you went and visited with him right when he committed to Michigan.
Yeah.
And anytime I praise Haynes, I feel like people are like, no, Marshall, and like that's our guy. But like you got to remind folks, Justice Haynes is a former number 1 overall running back recruit with 2 years of experience playing SEC football and not too much tread on his tires.
Yeah.
And in the best shape of his life entering his junior year. Like that is the formula for a really good year for a running back.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. I mean, Michigan's not.
There's no wrong answer.
They're right. Exactly. Yeah. I was just about to say, I mean, there's no, wrong answer with these two guys. I mean, most programs, would kill for this kind of depth in the backfield. So, again, there's no wrong answer to this equation. Whoever has the better year, it's just because they're good. I mean, it's just that. So, they're in a really good spot.
All right. Somebody said Bryce Underwood era. Is he named the starter? Why'd you guys name it that video? Oh my God. I don't know why he hasn't been named the starter. I think it's kind of bizarre. I mean, I understand this perspective, this narrative. He's got to earn it. And, we want him to win over the team. And, I get all that. There's really no suspense because Mikey Keene hasn't even been at full health in this camp. And Bryce Underwood would have won this job anyway.
Yeah.
He would have won the job anyway. Let's be clear. We know what he has from a physical talent standpoint. He's ready. He's shown everything from work ethic and leadership. This is his team. He's won over the team. That was clear to me listening to players talk in the spring and the summer and the fall, listening to coaches. He's had a really good fall, though. This isn't a default situation. Both scrimmages, we've had folks that, let's say, went into it skeptical, maybe an old school mindset and really don't like this idea of starting a freshman QB and wish we could have brought him along, and then leave that scrimmage going, dude, this guy's for real. He's ready. So Underwood's been getting the number 1 reps. I like that regardless of the public announcement not being there, he's been treated as the starter during fall camp. Moore has suggested he probably won't announce it till game week. We'll see if he sticks to that. I would announce it tomorrow, frankly. I don't really see, you're not going to catch anybody off guard by announcing it later. But look, I knew at the spring game when I saw the reaction to Bryce Underwood of current players, recruits, current players, parents, right? Like this guy is a different animal altogether. He's a phenom and he is the face of this program already. And he's starting week 1. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. You're not bringing in the number 1 recruit or the number 1 quarterback recruit in the country to have him sit on the bench and, develop. It's you're throwing him into the fire right away. I mean, and you're not paying the money that you're paying to have him there in the first place, to have him sit on the bench. If he's as good as advertised, he was going to win the
super sticker. I don't
Super
know.
sticker. All right.
Well,
thank you.
That's the question. So I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Who's the sleeper on offense and defense? Keep an eye on. Sleeper's a fun one.
Yeah, because there's really,
what's a sleeper in this era?
Yeah.
You pick one for offense or defense, and I'll pick the other.
Okay, I'll do one for offense. Give me Jasper Parker.
Well, that's cheating.
I think he's the sleeper. I mean, it's just recency bias for me, but I can't really think of anyone else right now that kind of sticks out. Maybe Kendrick Bell.
We've got some sleeper talk with wide receivers we'll get into. I think that'll be really good. That's a good shout. Man, see, defense is tough too, because I want to say Cole Sullivan.
That would have been my choice.
Only because as much hype as he's gotten, I think his role is going to be even bigger than people realize, because I think Michigan's going to use a lot of 3 linebackers this year, because both Barham and Sullivan have the ability to come up to the line, blitz, impact the run game like a Sam linebacker, an outside edge almost.
Right.
If I pick a name you haven't heard a ton of, I would probably either go Jaden Mangum, being a part of the safety rotation, especially while Rod Moore is hurt.
That's a good one.
And then Jaden Sanders is an interesting name at cornerback, along with Josiah Edmond, that I could probably throw out there. But the Cole Sullivan thing, I think everyone knows he's going to break out and have a good year. I think he could be one of the most important parts of the defense. That's how good he can be. So great question. Addison, thank you. Bryce Underwood, if you remember where you were, go ahead.
You have to let him. You got to kind of let the reins off him and just let him go, to be honest. He's going to be. Yeah, as long as they can kind of keep him in the confines of the offense and not have him go off script too much. I don't think he will. I don't think he's that kind of JJ-esque type of quarterback that's willing to be, run around and throw across his body and all that kind of stuff. But he will if he has to. But I think for him in a starting role, as long as they can kind of keep him in the confines of the scheme and put him in positions to be successful, I think
for sure
Michigan is going to have a so much better year offensively than last year. I think almost by default, just because the quarterback play is just going to be improved. So, I had a thought here, but Jet just jumped in front of me and totally just disrupted me. He's going to make mistakes too. I mean, he's not going to be perfect. He's not going to throw 0 interceptions, and not, and make a bad read. I think there has to be some level of patience, not as level of patient as the expectations, because the expectations at this point are kind of, are very high. I don't want to say unrealistic.
I think for his career, I think Michigan fans are being kind of reasonable, though. They know this is his freshman year, right?
Yeah, but I would hope so. I would hope so.
And it helps that they're coming off of one of the worst passing seasons in the history of college football that did not occur at a military academy. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if he was coming in right after JJ, that would be it would be a little bit of a different situation for sure. But
sure.
Look, I mean, there's going to be highs, there's going to be downs. I'm hoping there's more highs and downs, but that's the life of a quarterback. A lot of it, 75% I'd say would be, on his shoulders, but the other 25 has got to be, maybe even more 50-50 if you want to, but the offensive line's got to keep them upright. Receivers have got to get open. The running backs have got to block. So there's a lot more to it than just him making mistakes, but look, the possibilities with him and this team are limitless. Elite quarterbacks make players better. You could be an average player and an elite quarterback can turn you into a Hall of Famer. Like Tom Brady has turned countless Hall of Famers, from absolutely like a Danny Woodhead. Who would ever have expected coming out of college, like a Danny Woodhead or an Amendola, or just you can rattle off tons of names that Tom Brady, Peyton Manning has done the same thing, and again, I'm not comparing Underwood to Brady and Peyton Manning. I'm just saying,
clip it.
Saying elite quarterbacks make players around you better. That's just what they do. So you kind of hope that you can see that in the college.
Wes Welker.
Yeah, Wes Welker. No business.
All the little white guys.
No, they had no business in the NFL. But here we are. And it's what happens when you have an elite quarterback. So, you kind of hope that kind of translates, that elite level of play can elevate others as well. So, look, I mean, my expectations for him are high. I mean, you don't bring in the number one guy and say, well, I hope everyone has fun. You win. You got to win some ball games. And that starts with the staff putting these players in positions to succeed. And I think Chip Lindsey's offense and his scheme can do just that and really bring Michigan's offense to a new level.
I can't either, Derek. Josh comparing Underwood to Brady, pretty wild. L, O, and L. Yeah, totally. I'm getting JJ 22 vibes. Actually, with this whole team, I'm kind of getting 22 vibes, where it's like the depth piece on the defense and replacing, Hutch and Ojabo. How do you do it? Well, there's more talent. And the quarterback, it's like, look, we know he can make plays, but can he limit the mistakes? And we were surprised how good JJ was at not taking these huge risks and not turning the ball over. I don't care if Bryce throws a pick taking a shot on 3rd and long, or the guy was there and it just didn't click and they can learn from it the next time. I don't want him throwing a pick in the red zone. I don't want him throwing an interception and losing a chance at a field goal. I don't want him throwing an interception late in the game on a key drive, right? Like that. Don't make mistakes that are critical and cost you the game. Go out there. If you make mistakes taking shots, though, all right.
Yeah. The appropriate, I mean, I think JJ was really good at this too, is taking the appropriate risk. I mean, sometimes the risk was,
somebody said it, yeah,
not worth the reward, but
cool.
Well, needing to be game
manager. I thought we just needed to be a game manager. That's all. I agree. I mean, because that's an improvement over last year. You have an elite defense with a guy that can make some plays. I don't know about going undefeated though. I like your confidence.
Yeah, that's I mean, I'm not quite ready to go to the undefeated talk yet. I gotta watch him play football first.
Hey, we're on the high of the Stallion Gate ending. Let's get crazy.
Yeah.
Jason wanted us to get to wide receivers a little bit ago. Tell me about my boy Marsh. We'll get to receivers. Okay, Donaven McCulley, wide receiver 1. That is obvious to everybody. Hype is through the roof on him. I think he's going to be an excellent threat in the intermediate, in that 3rd and long range where Michigan had nobody last year, in the red zone ideally. And we're hoping the deep shot arrives when it comes to Underwood, McCulley in this offense. Excuse me.
Yeah, I think, I mean, McCulley, from just talking to just anyone that has seen him play, he's really impressed. Is made the tough catches. You can tell those two have chemistry already, and have been, it's been one of his favorite targets in camp. And I wouldn't read too much into him making plays as like a knock against the defensive backs, a young group of defensive backs. I just think, both schemes aren't perfect. There's going to be big plays that happen and stuff.
He's 6'5".
Right. Exactly. That's a big dude. A big dude. And Michigan hasn't had that since Nico Collins. And really, if they can kind of get more out of McCulley than they ever did out of Nico Collins, then Michigan is going to be in a very, very, very good spot offensively. I think now that they've kind of addressed the height situation, especially on the boundary, I think the deep shots, maybe they take them more, but they'll definitely be more the probability will be higher that they actually get completed because you got tall guys down there like McCulley and who's capable of getting the jump balls.
Yeah, 50-50 ball, put it where only he can grab it, or maybe you get a PI.
Yeah. Dude,
college football teams do it every single Saturday.
Yeah. A dude that's 6'5", it's either A, you're going to overthrow him somehow, B, he's going to at least get his hands on it, and C, you'll get a PI because what 5'11" DB is going to go up against him and try to contend him on a 50-50 ball.
Zeke Berry, that's you.
Yeah, I'd be very impressed with that DB, but yeah, look, he's the guy. Fred Moore, if we want to break down not the whole.
Hold on.
Room. Okay.
I have a whole segue for that. Are you ready for that? Are you done with McCulley?
Yeah, go fire away.
Seg
away.
Ooh, I like that. There was something I wanted to touch on as part of this. Somebody asked us Samaj taking the next step. So here's where we're at, in my opinion. The Z role has felt like Fred Moore's to keep. Basically going into camp, he's a guy that's just got to be consistent. He had a weird doghouse stay last year, but I mean, kid's fast, right? He can be that deep threat. He's just got to be consistent, but he's not going to be alone, right? So it feels like Samaj may have taken the lead, so to speak, in that slot role with, the UMass transfer, Anthony Simpson. He's so happy, dude. I mean, the kid's been honest since he was a recruit. That's one of the things I love about him. He's not scared to be honest.
Yeah.
He feels better in this offense. They can't hide him in these clips that they're posting online. He's making these ridiculous one-handed grabs. He's just going to be a better fit. I think Samaj is going to have a good year. Things get really interesting, though. Channing Goodwin's a guy we've been hyping a lot. I had a really, really good source, somebody who would understand wide receiver play at Michigan, I'll say that, who talked very highly of Channing Goodwin today to me. Andrew Marsh, the young guy, is another one that's going to get out there and play. And Kendrick Bell, they talked about him a lot during the offseason. I was like, okay, I know he played a lot last year, but whatever. He's healthy. He's big. Yeah, he's 6'2", 205. He's strong. He's somewhere in there too. There's about 4 guys that I think are going to get rotated heavily, and whoever makes the most plays consistently is going to be wide receiver 2. It could be Samaj. It could be Channing. It could be Andrew Marsh. It could be Kendrick Bell. So actually, while we're talking about it, put in the comments who you think wide receiver 2 is going to be end of the year. Josh, your thoughts on the wide receiver position and that rotation?
Yeah, there's another. Hold on one second here. Juju got with a donation here. Top 50 offense. Yeah, I mean, if they can if they're in that top 50 range, they might not even have to be top 50 to have a really good year. If they can get in that 50 to 100 range, anywhere in there, I think that A, obviously is an improvement, and B, I think Michigan can have a really good year with a top 50 to 100 offense. And if you're doing more than that, that's just icing on the cake. Or, Michigan's had to put up some insane yards because the defense is giving a lot of points. So there's not really much in between there. But anything above a top 50 is a huge win for coming off what they had last year. Anyway, wide receivers. One name that's been floating around that you didn't mention is Jamar Browder. And it's been kind of an interesting discussion with him too, because there's 2 sides of the coin. One side is what people are saying publicly, and that's Sharon Moore saying that Browder and Marsh could see early playing time. And
Browder's a beast, making freak plays.
Right. Browder is, very much like McCulley, same frame, 6'5" range, just big dude that with the height you can't teach and the athleticism there too. The other side of the coin is that there is kind of, even this was before Sharon said what he said. So, I mean, he could very well have improved his play over this point in time. There was a lot of, people being unsure if he was going to see the field this year, just from A, being in the bridge program, and then B, trying to learn the offense and being in the right spots. So there is a very real possibility that he's improved his knowledge of the scheme and all of that kind of stuff, and has put himself in better position. The good news is that if he doesn't play, or plays in enough games to preserve his red shirt, I think they'll be okay. But he's another guy, that Sharon pointed out, saying that he's going to play for them at some point this year. I think Marsh is probably on the faster track than Browder is right now.
Yeah.
But if Michigan can get something out of year one out of Marsh and Browder, that's a big time win for them, and just getting and building that depth out in a position group that I think people were way too down on coming out of the year. I mean, I get it. I get it, but picture any other quarterback that they had in that offense last year. I think the wide receiver play would have been a lot better. I don't want to.
I've been watching a lot of film the last couple of weeks too, and like receivers get open.
Yeah,
they got open last year.
Right.
Like,
yeah, you just didn't have anyone to give him the ball. But again, that's last year, and I don't want to call last year a wash, but I think way better quarterback play. You're looking at an entirely different year outside of the Ohio State and Alabama wins.
There's an interesting piece of this too, because when you bring in the tight ends, right? Because this isn't going away. Chip Lindsey likes using tight ends in the passing game. He will split them out wide. He'll put them in the slot. Let's get this. My good friend, Michael Barnett, that is the head coach of Grand Haven varsity baseball, asked, I put that away so fast, is this the last year of the true fullback after Bredesen leaves? Not at all. I think this is actually a really, really good system for Bredesen, because Lindsey likes having that H-back that will either line up in line, or he can be back off the line, or he can literally be over the B gap like a fullback would be. That's what makes this offense so interesting, is they can run out there in 12 personnel and have two tight ends and go 5 wide. They don't care. 4 wide, 3 wide, jumbo with 2, right? So that's why when people ask me about like Chip Lindsey, is it going to be up tempo? Is it going to be up tempo? A lot of the tempo from Lindsey comes from not no huddle, hurry up on the line, but not having to sub and being able to do multiple packages from one personnel. And then you're catching the defense in a base 4-3 and you're coming out 5 wide. And I've got a linebacker on Jordan Marshall, or a 5'10" corner on Marlon Klein, right? Like that's where the mismatches come from. So I would argue the one spot where Michigan doesn't, like, absolutely will not see an improvement as a total unit is tight end. You lost Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Marlon Klein, I think, can be really, really good. We've heard about his athletic ability. We know he can get in line and block. Hopefully we can see him in the seam and the flat, more of a passing threat. I was huge on Hogan Hansen. I still am, but his injury is really delayed, where his contributions are going to come into the season. Max Bredesen's going to be a factor. Zach Marshall's a guy who's taken a big leap this camp. And my guy, Jalen Hoffman, I think has shown, hey, I can do this H-back thing. I am the next Max Bredesen. Eli Owens, I am the next Max Bredesen. Yeah. But both of those guys can catch the football too.
Yeah. It's been kind of a quiet, at least from our discussions, it's been kind of quiet from the tight end perspective. And I wouldn't characterize that as bad news. Zach Marshall has been a name that's been floating around, that's been taking advantage of extra reps because, guys have been banged up and stuff like that. Nothing severe or anything, but Deacon Tonielli is another guy that's grown since the spring. But yeah, we hear about Marlon Klein. I mean, he's on the freaks list for a reason. We've heard that he's like the fastest guy on the team. I mean, that's crazy. That's ridiculous for a dude that size and playing the position he does, being one of the fastest guys on the team. I'd love to see that translate to the field in whatever capacity. I don't necessarily think he can be a pure receiving tight end. I think he's got the ability to block. And you will see that a lot this year, but I would love if they utilize him in the passing game and kind of get him in space, because he's got the speed that really, that could kill you if you're not looking out for the tight end. And that just, again, will bounce into just another good year of production from the tight end position. And yeah, the whole group as a whole, they're at a disadvantage because, you know, they lost Loveland. You know, there's going to be drop off because Loveland was just a freak. You know,
literally the best tight end in college football.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, those are big shoes to fill, and I don't think they have anyone right now that could fill those shoes. But they don't have to. They don't have to fill those shoes. So, yeah, look, I think, yeah, Klein is tight end 1 by a mile, and has had a good camp. You know, I kind of take it, if people aren't talking about you in camp, it's just you're doing your job. You know, they mostly talk about guys that are coming on, emerging, you know, that may not have been part of the conversation earlier.
That's such a good point.
Or you're a quarterback. I mean, that's pretty much like the major.
But then we tag these guys as hype, but it might just be exceeding the expectations that a coach had going in. That happens a lot where it's like, oh man, he's really, you know, showing up for, well, yeah, he was your wide receiver 9. That doesn't mean he's right. That's a good point.
Yeah. And it's not like we can go down the roster and get bullet points for every single guy. You know, we're not going to be like, hey, what's the third punter? What's he good at? You know,
is like, there a third? Actually, Marlon Klein might be.
Yeah, Marlon Klein. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what the tight end position is going to look like, but
I know you. I mean, we don't love injury talk, but the Brady Prieskorn, I saw him and Hansen at the spring game, obviously in street clothes, but both were moving really, really well. I know it's not the same thing as playing football, but I have not personally heard a thing about him this camp.
Yeah, he's been in return to play. I last time I checked, which was when did I ask about that? Last week and a half. Last week, it was about a week and a half ish. He's still in the return to play phase, so he hasn't been.
Yeah,
he's in a similar boat to Rod Moore. You know, doing a lot of like walkthroughs and stuff, but not padded up in full participant. So, and it's a bummer because it was such a freak thing that happened to him during that Ohio State warm-ups out of all.
I remember Brock texting us like, "What in the world just happened?"
Yeah, God, that's a shame. I'm really high on Prieskorn, and I hope he can get. I mean, he will. I mean, they avoided something really serious, so it's just kind of they're easing him back into playing and you know, I'm hoping he can return at some point this year and hopefully see the field. So, yeah, I mean, it's a bummer. I mean, God, it's such a freak thing that happened to him, but, man, the sky's the limit for that kid. I really think that kid could be a monster.
It's so funny because when they committed, he's obviously in the same class as Hogan Hansen. I envision Hansen maybe being the one that added the weight and being more of an inline tight end. And now Hansen is probably more the Loveland type slot receiver, and Brady Prieskorn is literally the biggest tight end on the roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he is a really good receiver, so that'll be a weapon when they can get him healthy. I think Zach Marshall's probably tight end too right now, with what we know from an injury standpoint. He's had a really good camp and he's run with the ones at times. I think Jalen Hoffman's going to have a role. Is that rotating with Bredesen? Is that getting straight tight end looks? I don't know, but it reminds me of the wide receiver room where it's like Klein, McCulley. These are our clear top guys.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of talent and potential underneath, and somebody's just got to do it. Someone's got to step up and be the consistent player.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of where we're at with like the tight end discussion is just we got to kind of see how they look on the field. You know, if Sula can coach it toward like to the similar level of how he recruits, then they're going to be just fine. Because that guy is a hell of a recruiter, good coach too. I mean, he was helpful in bringing Loveland into the program in the first place. So I think I don't know what my expectations are for the tight ends this year, honestly, because it's just so hard to think about it without Loveland and how the dynamic of the offense changes without him there. I mean, if you've got a guy there that you can that you can kind of rely on, to pick up, short yardage stuff that, I mean, they probably would need someone to step up. I mean, Klein would probably be that guy, right now. But yeah, we kind of have to see how that plays out because the talk has been quiet. Again, that I'm not taking that as a bad thing or that these guys stink. It's just it's just part of the discussions and how it comes up. So yeah, that's kind of a unique position, I think, for Michigan this year because for the first time in a very long time, I think, the wide receivers might be more of a focal point just because of the numbers and what they have. But they'll still obviously, the tight ends will still obviously be involved in the run game and pass game and all that stuff. But yeah, look, it'll be, I'll be really curious because if any year is going to be the year for Marlon Klein to emerge, it has to be this one. It just has to be. I mean, this is his opportunity to do it. And, I think a lot of people are hoping that he can and he's capable of it. So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
I don't really. I mean, I think the offensive line is pretty cut and dry. We've been posting intel on that pretty consistently. Josh posted something yesterday. I posted something today. If you guys have a question about O-line, go ahead and throw it in there. But I don't know that there's any real surprises there. Again, kind of getting 21, 22 vibes with this group. You've got some veteran returners. You've got some young guys coming up. I think that could be a group that gets really a lot better this year. And look, like wide receiver, we didn't talk about the addition of Soup Campbell. O-line, Biff Poggi coming back, Juan Castillo coming back, Sherwin Moore spending more time with the O-line. Simply put, if the O-line doesn't get better, the Sherwin Moore era has bigger problems.
Yeah.
Right. So, yes, Jason, at this point, I would almost call it a lock that Link's starting at left tackle at this point. That's not by default. I think he's handled that pressure and that, Moore really praising Babaloa.
Yeah.
He's handled that well, and he's done a good job.
Yeah, I think this was definitely earned. It wasn't just handed to him by default. They got pushed by Babalola, who I still think will see the field at some point this year. He's been kind of up down, but lately he's been back up on the upswing of things. I'm just reading this comment here from this Penn State guy who has 2 playoff wins. Michigan did it last year. Or excuse me, in 2023. They won the Rose Bowl. They beat Alabama. They beat Saban. And like, what?
Nice little cakewalk to a Final Four there with Boise State.
It makes sense.
Let me know. Is this natty or bust? Is it natty or bust this year for Penn State?
Oh, you forget who your dumbass head coach is. Cranes James.
We've been talking about this to you, Brian, the 6th offensive lineman. I don't know. and in a good way. I think this second unit on the offensive line is looking really, really good. Josh and I were talking about this where you feel like Hatter or a Phobie or whoever comes out of that guard spot has an edge, but that tends to be a tackle.
Yeah.
In that 6th offensive lineman spot too. So is that Babaloa? Is that Frazier? Do you go with a young guy there? Is it Connor Jones?
Yeah.
That I don't think we'll know till they come out. And then first off the bench is going to be interesting too, because there's a lot of versatility with this group.
Right.
Garnera can play center or guard. I think, Hatter or Phobie is a clear 6th man off the bench, if you will, from a guard standpoint. But yeah, tackle. Is it going to be Frazier or Babs that comes off the bench first? Or, do you move, even an experience, I don't know. It could be interesting. Hopefully, I mean, there's going to be times guys come off. You need 8 offensive linemen. That's just a fact. But
yeah, if I had to make a guess, I think right now it's probably if they were playing today and they had to play a package with a 6 offensive lineman, I think it would be Frazier right now. That doesn't mean that Babalola won't be. I think he will get run there. Connor Jones was right there too. Still is right there. For the tackle spot, but he's been banged up and kind of, he's been able to practice. It's like, it's not anything. When I say banged up, it's not like these guys have been sidelined for weeks. They've been able to practice, but it's just, he's been kind of limited a little bit in terms of, his mobility and stuff. So that really hurt him, unfortunately, because he probably would have taken that sixth, that sixth O-lineman spot. But I think you'd probably see a combination of both Frazier and Babalola, possibly Frazier more at the beginning of the year. But again, Babalola's he's going to have something to say about it. They really, really like him. He's done well, all things considered, what it mentioned,
I think
the football experience in particular.
Yeah.
So
if Link wouldn't have taken the steps he needed to, I think they would have felt, I mean, comfortable is probably not the right word. It's a freshman who hasn't played a ton of football starting left tackle, but I think they would have been all right with it. And what gets interesting for me, Jason brought up Haywood and Babalola. Babalola is the future of the left tackle position.
Yeah.
So next year, assuming, unless Link, if Link struggles this year, Babalola is going to get a shot. Like, they're not going to just let Link sink all year. But assuming Link has a good year, what an interesting dynamic. Yeah, that's going to raise with Babalola next year. And Ty Haywood, I think, probably moves to guard, which, oh my God, right? But if I've got, let's assume a Babalola or a surprise, huge rise from Link at left tackle, Sprague's at right, and Haywood's taking a guard spot. Blake Frazier, who I've kind of thought of as like the next Zach Zinter in my mind. I know he's been getting a lot of tackle run, but he probably moves to guard too, because there's not another spot for him at tackle to go. Garnera's taking over at center. Or is he? Is he part of the guard battle? And Brandon Norton is, right?
He's right there in the guard discussion too. I mean, he's not going to win it, but right there in terms of reliable depth that they will play if needed.
So my point is, as much as this group feels like it's taken a step this year, the dividends of strong recruiting really start showing up next year. And the dividends of a very smart recruiting strategy of, I can go get the swing guys in the portal. I went and got tackles, and now I'm moving elite tackles into guards because I don't have spots for them. I'm not asking guards to be tackles.
Yep.
Major difference, and props to Sharon, Grant Newsome, and what they've been able to flip over in the last couple of recruiting classes. And it's going to be a huge difference moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, the premium on tackles is insane.
You're not getting one in the portal. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Unless you want to way overpay a ridiculous amount of money, you're not going to get a good tackle out of the portal because they're just at such a premium.
They're getting paid where they're at.
Yeah, I think it's smart business is to get the elite tackles, and then you can fill in where you need to fill in through the portal elsewhere.
It's an NFL strategy, man.
Right, really and I mean that's what Michigan has done. I mean, the Oluwatimi and all of these guys that they've added on the offensive line that have been contributors that aren't tackles. It's just smart business.
Yep. You recruit quarterback, you recruit the guy that protects the quarterback.
Yep.
You recruit the guy that goes and gets the quarterback. Right. Those are the guys. That's where you invest from an NIL strategy in the recruiting department. You reward the players that stay.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that cash out at all your other positions, and a spot like linebacker. Not that you don't go after top spots, but you feel like you can get a linebacker, defensive tackle. I mean, look, this group, we keep saying this group is 6 deep at defensive tackle. It's more than that, but you're not going to play 9 defensive tackles, right? But Rayshon Benny is leading this group. He's the guy when we talk about, you brought up, like, you're not hearing a name a ton, but in a great way. I think Rayshon Benny's in for a big year.
Yeah,
I really do.
I agree. Yeah, I think he's going to work his way into a pretty good draft position this year. I don't know if he'll be, a first rounder, but I mean, he has all the opportunity. I mean, for all I know, he could absolutely be that way. But if he is not in the second or third round discussion by the end of the year, I'd be really surprised because they're really, really high on him. and he's had a really good camp. And yeah, it's just out of necessity that we talk about 6 guys, but yeah, they have 8 or 9 guys, maybe more, that they could run in the front, which is just not, you can't do that. You can't.
Let me name drop on you real quick. So the transfer additions, Trey Williams, Damon Payne, obviously 2 guys, grad transfers, tons of experience playing at Alabama and Clemson elite programs. They're used to being in rotation roles. They've done it their entire careers. Trey Pierce, a guy that could break out. Big Ike Iwana, has not played a ton at Michigan, but when he got reps last year, looked really, really good. He's a guy you're happy to have rotating in and out. Anoeta, he's finally found a home. That boy got big, and he's ready to be mean on the inside at defensive tackle. And then, yeah, Poly, Manuel Bagel, Benny Patterson, and Travis Moten are young guys, but they're dudes that are like, Travis Moten scares me.
Oh, man.
I keep saying that, and I don't want him to ever think I'm being mean. I mean it in the best way. But something about the size of this man and the look on his face, he is an intimidating football player. But they're 6 deep. They could go 8. They could go 10. You lose Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant. That's a big deal. But there's just so much depth. These guys are going to play 25 snaps a game, and they're just going to keep rotating in. And the offensive line of opponents should be worn down. This should be the Michigan formula we saw in that 21 to 23 stretch.
Yeah, that's the blueprint that they need to follow, is get enough depth that they can rotate guys in and out. And I don't think, man, I just don't think Michigan will just in this day and age of the transfer portal and stuff. Just that 23 team in terms of depth was so unbelievably unique and rare. I just don't know if they could ever get to that point again. I mean, maybe
not without the COVID exemption and now the roster limits. No chance.
I mean, maybe in the defensive tackle position, you can make that argument that they have that kind of level of talent there, but it doesn't really extend much beyond that. Maybe linebacker, but that 23 team was just so rare and unique. But the following that model of having that depth to a certain degree, obviously you can't replicate it in this day and age, but having that and having the depth that can play consistent snaps and double-digit snaps every week, that just bodes well for just the entire year and health. And you look at Ron Bellamy, this is kind of sidetracking a little bit, but Ron Bellamy made a point. He was asked about not having a 1,000-yard receiver since Jeremy Gallen. And, he mentioned 23. He was like, well, Roman would have gotten, probably would have gotten there, but he didn't play in like 6 fourth quarters, which I'm like, holy crap. Like you forget just how good that 23 team was and how efficient they were. And that's the kind of depth and guys that you can rely on that you strive for. And I think Michigan should try to follow that blueprint. But unbelievable, like just like not playing in like 5 or 6 fourth quarters during the year. It's just like that bodes so well for health moving forward and having that, proverbial tread on the tires that we talk about. Yeah, just so good. So good.
Well, in this group too, and we can include Edge in the conversation now as well, because I've seen some folks asking, it over under 10 sacks for Derek Moore. I mean, he's obviously got to be a leading candidate to go double digit. Only reason I think he might, or no one might, is just because, again, like 2022, as dominant as Mike Morris was, they rotated the group so much. Cam Brandt has had a really, really good fall camp. I think Cam Brandt's going to be really good. TJ Guy's ready. He's waited his turn. He's ready to step into that bigger role. Dom Nichols is probably another one of these guys, along with Cole Sullivan. We're like, yeah, they've gotten hype. I think people, they're just getting buried, don't understand how good they can be. Yeah. And this is another spot. There's your 4 that they're going to rotate. Blue guard Edekpike could see the field. That dude is a monster. He's good enough. He's ready to go. Devin Baxter's probably ready to go and simply won't because of the depth that's on this roster. I wanted to shout out too, this coaching group. When you think about the job Lou Esposito has done, and we knew would do Hi, Killing. Son's at the door again. The job he's done, we knew he would do, and we saw what he was able to do at Western. But pairing with Wink Martindale, who's obviously a defensive line guy, and then the extra additions of you got David Denham, who was Lou's right-hand man at Western, has come in kind of under the radar, but Ty Martindale, Wink's son, has been added to this staff as well. He helps out with linebackers more. And then Pernell McPhee, obviously NFL experience, helping out outside linebackers on the edge. In the trenches, offensive line and defensive line, you've just got talent, players, good recruiting, and unbelievable coaching staff. Again, if it doesn't work this year, there's bigger problems for this era of Sharon Moore. But right now, man, have they done a good job in the trenches, defensive and offensive. But I mean, it's just so exciting. I think this group's going to be, again, you're never going to know who's on the field. They're just going to be constantly rotating. Do pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how you win games. You know, you win the games in the trenches, and you know they're well aware. Michigan is well aware of that. I bet Killian would have some hot takes.
He would have a lot to tell you about Sprunky, or what do they call it? Roblox doors or something? Is something else he's obsessed with? Minecraft.
Oh yeah, of course.
Definitely could get you some Minecraft takes as well. But linebacker's one of those groups. I don't know that there's a lot there, man. Barham's going to be who he is. I like that the hype. I feel bad for what happened to him last year. I will say forever. You know, Grant Newsom said it out loud, the faster Devin Bush comparison. The person who told me that off the record, if you knew who he was, you'd understand why I took it so serious. Like, there's very few people as credible as this person in the Michigan football media Times Square. I think they figured out how to use him in the second half of the year.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a game changer. Ernest Hausman is absolutely the leader and captain of that defense, that linebacker group at starter level. And then obviously we've talked about Cole Sullivan, and you can mention some other guys as well, but you've got that defensive front in front of you and that level of experience and young talent at linebacker. Whoo. It's nasty. What a combo.
Yeah. I think that really the front really bodes well for not only the linebackers, but the young cornerbacks and the defensive backs too. I mean, we'll obviously get into that group here in a minute, but I think when you have an elite pass rush like that, you're A, shutting down the run, and B, you're not giving a quarterback enough time to throw the ball. So Warhammer, yeah.
What was the deal with that? Oh, my phone was auto-correcting his name or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what a nickname, Warhammer. Yeah. That's right.
Well, let's hope we can see a Warhammer. But yeah, I think, you know, not only Michigan figured out how to use Barham, but I think Wink figured out how to use his defense efficiently. You know, it's within the confines of the scheme. So that the light bulb really turned on in that Indiana game. Probably, unfortunately, too little, too late. But you know, I digress. But linebacker. Yeah, it's one of those things like the defensive tackles. It's like they're so good, they're so reliable that you just don't really hear much of them because they're just doing what everyone thought they were going to do, and they're continuing that on that upward trajectory. You know, just because, you know, Ernest Hausman hasn't been discussed as, you know, in fall camp of having a good day doesn't mean he hasn't had a good day. He's just been solid. He's just solid. Barham is solid. What you really want to hear is the guys behind him, like a Jimmy Rolder, who's had a really good camp, who's actually healthy and is really kind of flipped the switch, so to speak, and as you know, with his health, has allowed him to kind of take his game to another level, and he's going to have a huge role this year. Cole Sullivan, another guy that Sharon Moore is really, really high on, who is going to have every opportunity that he wants to go out there and prove he belongs. And I think he will. I think he's another guy that, you know, a lot of fans are going to be talking more about as the year goes on.
They're just going to love the way he plays, man. Yeah.
And another name that keeps finding its way coming up, it keeps coming up, is Chase Taylor, a true freshman.
Interesting.
His name keeps coming up. Sharon Moore brought his name up unprompted during his press conference last week. man, I don't know what his path to playing time looks like this year, but his name keeps lingering. I don't know what that's going to look like, how that translates to playing time, but they really like him a lot, and he was kind of one of their underrated early pickups in the 2025 class. So, and he's come to camp and played really well. So, if they can build some depth at linebacker, that's going to be a pretty scary position group moving forward, because you're going to lose Barm, you're going to lose Hausman, you're going to lose, I think you lose Rolder after this year.
He's the same as Hausman, but he has a red shirt.
Yeah, I can never keep track.
Yeah, he has another year technically.
You're thinking that Rolder probably will be back next year, and obviously it depends on what happens on the field. But yeah, if you can build that depth for the future next year, you're just going to be right back to where we are right now in terms of not anyone talking about the position group because they've just been solid. And as Ralph's mentioned here in the comments, Troy Bowles too, which is getting back into the swing of things.
Well, I apologize if I zoned out, but I don't even think we mentioned the 5-star.
Oh yeah, Wusu Boateng too.
I mean,
I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he'll what his trajectory looks like either.
Yeah.
Another one of those bridge guy programs. I mean, Chase Taylor. Chase Taylor's name is being brought up more because he was here in the spring, so he's had way more time with this defense and in the program. So it kind of makes sense to hear his name being mentioned more than someone like a Wusu Boateng, which is not to say that he's having a bad camp or not playing well.
Well, he was here in the spring as well, but he didn't get healthy till late. And he's also only 205 pounds. So.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. No, he would. Yeah, exactly. So
the Sullivan thing is something just came out of my mouth. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what that was. If anybody saw the Sullivan thing is interesting. I always thought, hey, don't gotta clip that. I always thought he was gonna end up at the edge. The Chase Winovich comparisons, both being from Pittsburgh, the way they get in the backfield, it was just too obvious to me. But Tress and the the team and the way that they've worked and developed him, he's not going to carry 270. He's what, 235, 240. I'm not sure what he is right now. They're keeping him at linebacker. And again, I look at where that Barham role is going in terms of an inside linebacker that can become a Sam. I think about my comp changing with Cole Sullivan a little bit more Josh Uche. That Uche could blitz from the middle linebacker position. He could line up like a Sam linebacker in a 3-4 over. He could line up like a standing edge in the multiple front defense we see common in this system. Sullivan's a guy, there's not a Viper position anymore, right? But he's one of those players who are like, hey, if my defensive front is so good and I feel good about my secondary, I kind of just want to put him wherever and let him go make plays. Yeah. I think that's what Sullivan's going to be. I think they're going to trust his instincts and kind of just allow him, you see ball, you go good ball.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too, it'd be a different conversation if he was a bad linebacker, but he's not a bad linebacker.
Correct. That's a great point.
If he stunk, they would put him at edge, but I think they just love him at that linebacker spot. And he's, proven to be able to make plays at that spot through camp and through spring. And we saw some in the spring game as well. I just think that, essentially their hands were forced. Like, yeah, go ahead. You could be linebacker depth and you're going to see a ton of time on the field. Yeah. So,
the depth at edge and the leadership at linebacker. I mean, it's allowed them to do this.
Yep. And that's what, having good depth does for you. It allows you to experiment a little bit and, you'll maybe hit gold in a couple of guys. I mean, it happened with Sainer still. It's gonna, hopefully it kind of translates. I mean, Sullivan and Sainer still aren't comparable in terms.
I know what you meant though. Yeah,
but it just allows you to be more.
I don't think we remember how desperate Michigan was. Like there was nobody to play nickel, and they moved Sainer still over there, and Don Brown wanted him to play defense from the jump, and he ended up at wide receiver to start. But what a legendary career, man. Sainer's still like, okay, I guess he can be nickel, and he ends up becoming one of the best secondary defenders in Michigan history. Just awesome. Josh just said
Sullivan's going to be a cornerback. Yeah. You heard it here first.
We should clip some of the most ridiculous like that. You've compared Bryce Underwood to Tom Brady and Cole Sullivan to Mike
and Peyton Manning.
And
Peyton Manning, both of those guys.
I wanted to try and stay in an hour, but we've talked about every other position group, so it'd be stupid not to hit on the secondary. This is another group where I feel like people keep asking us, like, "Hey, do you guys not have any? What's the intel on this?" It's like, well, it's kind of business as expected, right?
Yeah.
Zeke Berry, Jair Hill, those are your top two corners. I'll let you talk about who you think's taking a leap there. I've been on TJ Metcalf at the nickel since the spring. He might be, it's not the same type of player at all, but in terms of an impact from that nickel position, it's as close as you can get with Sanders. So this guy can line up at corner. He can move to safety. He's violent. He's smart. Metcalf did not get a lot of attention in the transfer portal. I think after Justice Haynes, TJ Metcalf might be the next best ad that Michigan out of the portal. He's going to be awesome. And then Brandon Hillman. I'm so excited for Brandon Hitman Hillman to have full-time reps. He's going to be so good at strong safety. And Mason Curtis is probably going to play that free safety role while Rod Moore is brought back. Mm-hmm. Curtis and Metcalf can switch. Curtis can become that big nickel. But you know what? Zeke Berry played nickel. That's where he started last year. Jair Hill's been getting run at nickel all offseason. All the young guys have been getting run at nickel. Again, much like the offense can roll out with a personnel and can totally adapt and confuse you. This is the most, we talked about versatility in recruiting for years, and here we are, dude. This defense is positionless, especially in the secondary. We can get into some of the names that adds the depth to that are rising, but what do you think about this group? Rod Moore's health is obviously a topic, and Jair Hill, Zeke Berry. What happened? You okay?
No, cat tried to jump on me, and I've got shorts on, and his claw right into my legs because he tried to jump, hit his head on the desk.
Yeah, tell me about this secondary group. Is there a clear CB1? Rod Moore's health, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I mean the clear CB1 is Jair Hill. I think he's really benefited from a year of maturity and kind of learning from Will Johnson, and he's really taken a step forward in camp. Shug is doing really well. Another name that I think, as you mentioned, defensive sleepers, I think Metcalf fits that mold just because of the fact that a lot of fans probably weren't watching Arkansas football last year, in the last couple of years that he's with the program. So he's probably another guy that the not as informed fan is going to be like, who the heck is this guy? Where does he come from? I mean, I think he's that level of good.
He's so good.
The versatility part is just so important because, hopefully, knock on wood, there's no hits to the depth chart. But if that were to happen, then you can be like, well, we got TJ. We can just slot him in there as well. So I've heard good things about his brother too, Tevin.
Yes.
I don't know if that he'll play this year, but he's got a very similar work ethic to TJ. And I think he could be a guy at some point, but the main ones, for at least at corner, Jair Hill, Shamari Earls has done really well. And then Jaden Sanders' name is coming up a lot lately too. Ever since it's weird. Ever since Sharon brought his name up last Monday, you're starting to hear his name a lot, Jaden Sanders' name a lot more, which I think is interesting. So I think Sanders will probably be on the field at some point. I would say if you're looking at the freshmen, I think Earls right now is probably in your two deep. And that's kind of what I've been told, that it's kind of trending towards the, in the two deep. So do I, we'll see. I'm not, you're asking a lot playing a true freshman at corner. You're asking a lot from him. I think Earls has the talent to handle it, though. I mean, it's just consistent that his name has been brought up. So I would not be surprised if their cornerback rotation has a lot of young guys in it. And like a good mix of experienced guys and young guys as well. So, yeah, it would not be surprising at all to see Earls get a lot of playing time and often. But as far as the corners, you asked me about Rod Moore.
Yeah, I can get into corners more. Some names you missed.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah,
but yeah. Rod Moore's health. I think people are concerned, but I mean, he is on track,
right?
But still no full contact. We're probably, I think, with that bye week coming after week 4. I mean, Moore could get on the field in the first 4 weeks and get some early reps, but I think that week 5 post bye is probably when we're going to see the most of Rod Moore, assuming he continues to track as well as he has been.
Yeah, that second procedure really screwed him. I mean, it was unfortunate that had to happen, because if that didn't happen, he'd be getting ready to go for week 1. But yeah, he's still in return to play as of this week. He has not padded up yet. And so I don't know when he will pad up. I mean, he's participating in pretty much everything he can except for playing football, which, is kind of important. But, he's participating in walkthroughs. He's doing drills and stuff. So it's not like he's completely immobile. He's very close, trending in the right direction. He's very close to be padded up and getting back into playing form, which is going to take some added time as well. So yeah, I don't really have a timeline. I mean, if you're expecting him week 1 or week 2, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But he will play this year. It's just a matter of when they feel comfortable enough to have him out there and be not only be a hindrance to himself or the defense. You don't want to play a 35% Rod Moore if he can't move. So I don't mind the taking your time approach, because you obviously don't want to make things worse by rushing a guy back. So I think the slow and steady approach, especially for a guy like Rod Moore, who knows this scheme like the back of his hand, you don't have to worry about that at all. Just kind of get him to a point where he's comfortable mentally and physically to go out there and hit someone. And I think, he'll be Michigan will be better off because of that.
Well, give me Rod Moore against Ohio State. That's all I need.
Yeah. And anyway, you're right though. If he never saw the field again, he has done more than he has ever needed to do.
Facts.
He has done way more for this program than, he doesn't need to do anything more if that were the case. But obviously a healthy Rod Moore is a good Rod Moore.
And again, like we said, Brandon Hellman, Mason Curtis, Metcalf can rotate in. Jaden Mangum was called out by Sherman Moore recently. He's somebody I think people kind of forgot about. He's definitely in that 2 deep rotation. But yeah, as far as corners, and it is going to be so interesting that CB3 through like 6, because Caleb Anderson, the Louisiana transfer, obviously familiar with Lamar Morgan. He's a big dude as well. Could he play in a nickel spot or that bigger outside corner? It'll be interesting to see. Josiah Edmond, I think, has gotten when players ask, like, hey, who's somebody who stood out to you? Or they get asked that, who's the guy that stood out to you? That random question we always ask players, hoping they'll give us intel that coaches don't. Edmond is a name that comes up a lot. Both sides of the ball, people shout out Edmond a lot. So it'll be interesting to see his role. Jacob Oden got huge.
Yeah.
Like that. He's big. I remember him being like this undersized safety. He's a big player. Jordan Young had a strong spring in camp. Dotson and Winston are late to the party, but it's just a deep group moving into the future. Is like Jeremiah Lowe he had the 2 picks in the spring game, right? Was it Lowe? Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, Hill being consistent, and I mean, I've talked about this a bunch. He's in like the 1st and 2nd round of mock drafts.
Mm-hmm.
Scouts love him. He just has to put it very Fred Moore-esque, right? He's made plays. He's had some blunders. He's been in the doghouse a couple times. get out there, play consistently. I'm with you on Earls. He could have that Will Johnson like ascension, CB4, CB2 by season's end. Be interesting to see.
Yeah.
How that goes. I want to ask you one more question, and then I will debut a new feature I'm really excited about in a second to close out the show. But somebody asked earlier, our biggest surprise on offense and defense. We talk a lot of hype. It's all good. Everything's good. Everything's good. Give me a concern on one side of the ball. I'll take the opposite from you as well. But give me a concern. It doesn't have to be one specific player or anything per se, but just let's not pretend everything's always good, right?
Right. A concern on defense?
Either one, you pick, and I'll do the opposite.
Okay, well, since I went offense first time, I guess I'll do defense this time, which is really hard to think of a concern on this defense. I think this kind of feels like low-hanging fruit, but kind of the overall lack of experience on the back end of the defensive back group, I think is kind of my big concern. Relying on a guy like Shamari Earls to be a potential CB2 is risky, but I think the reward is you get a high risk, high reward there. With that same thing with Josiah Edmond too. I think there's a high risk, high reward for him. So I think that probably the back end of that, like the CB3 through 6, is kind of my big concern, and how that kind of shakes out in what that looks like. And if that's my biggest concern, I think you're in a good spot defensively, because there's really nothing glaring that sticks out. And that's kind of what you want to have as a group. As David mentioned, third down. Yeah, I guess third down would be my big concern too. So
Wink losing his mind again. No, yeah. I think they figured that out, but yeah, that's a fair one.
Yeah.
Does he feel so comfortable? He goes, back to some, I don't know. I mean, the players are more comfortable with his terminology and stuff too, but no, that'd be my pick, because I think everything we said about the secondary comes with a hedge, right? Zeke Berry was getting torched and struggled at nickel, looked really, really good when he moved outside corner last year, but does that continue? And Berry's not huge. I think he's only like 5'11", right? Not a huge guy. Jair Hill, again, all the potential in the world. Can he be that consistent guy? Shamari Earls, tons and tons of hype. He's still a freshman, right? So there's these, I'm with you. If all the pieces don't come together, that would be my concern. On offense, man, I don't know if this is fair or similar. I think the widers, it's easier because the group can't be worse than it was last year. I think the wide receivers will naturally be better, especially in Chip Lindsey's offense. I think the offensive line is going to be better because of all the things they've addressed and made there. So for me, it's tight end because Colston Loveland is gone.
Yep.
I thought we would see more of Marlon Klein in the passing game last year. Maybe that's not fair because, again, what last year was.
Yeah.
I don't love that Hogan's been hurt. I don't love that Brady's been hurt. I like Zach Marshall a lot. I haven't seen a ton of him. How I feel about Jalen Hoffman, but how he plugs in that role. And that position is so important in Chip Lindsey's offense. I do think they're going to figure it out. I think it's going to work. But there's a lot of if-then from that position group, right?
Agreed.
So we have shared a ton of information, but the intel's been dropping like crazy over at Maize Blue Review. I see a lot of familiar names. I always say that, but a lot of new names too. But please join us on the website as well. This conversation's been going on for a week. It's going to continue to go on, especially as we get closer to the football season. We've been putting all our little pieces in place. Stock report, my analysis post game will be back. The game previews, everything.
Guys want an exclusive nugget?
What? Hold on.
Exclusive nugget. I got the nuggets.
We got a Shefty.
I got a 5-piece. Talking about the defense, Shamari Earls has been in the cornerback rotation the most outside of Zeke Berry and Brandon Hillman. Or excuse me,
Jair
Hill.
You saw Hillman. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Breaking news right on the pod. That's sick. We need a sound for when that happens. Be fantastic.
It doesn't happen very often, but sometimes, timing works out.
Gosh, I was doing somebody else's pod, or I was doing a radio gig or something, and you were texting me stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. Not that you were that guy, but I was on someone else's show, and I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah, no, we can do it. We can be that guy on our show because that's our show.
Because you are that guy. Yeah, absolutely. So, oh no, I should have marked that. Oh no, here we go. Is the new feature football neck photos?
Oh yeah,
brought to you by Circuit City.
Dude, we need to do a photo neck of the week, or football neck of the week.
Well, we are doing a football neck of the week. Jordan Marshall.
We got to remove the comment. You're not showing the glory of the neck.
I was gonna say, there we go.
Oh, look at the football neck.
Massive upgrade over last season. Michigan football put out a clip with him and Justice Haynes, and I was like, hey, that is a football neck. So Jordan Marshall, our football neck of the week, brought to you by Circuit City.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that every week. I think
that is awesome. We should do that. We should do that.
Circuit City's still in business.
It's alive in spirit.
I haven't looked recently, but for a while there, somebody bought like the logo and the website and was using it like a oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was like a drop shipping thing. It was like almost like a team.
No. What was the name? Like back when people built, I mean, people still do build computers, but there was a website where you could
order graphics.
Newegg, yes. Yeah. I think like Newegg still was the one that owned it. But yeah, it was that kind of site. It might be more drop shipping now. You might be 100% correct, but yeah. Trevor owns Circuit City through bankruptcy court. No, they still owe me like $4,000. I got screwed. I got absolutely screwed in that deal. It's been about 18 years.
If anyone has any connections to the former CEO of Circuit City, let him know that he owes Trevor McCue $4,000.
Well, interest, inflation.
Yeah, it's probably more than that now.
Hold on, I gotta figure this out. $4,000.
This is what you came here for, folks. The math. Came here for math.
It's $6,000.
Oh, okay. So scratch that. $6,000. If anyone knows any connections to the former CEO who torpedoed the company, let him know.
Does Jordan Marshall look like he's 14 and 32 at the same time?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because he's got a nice.
He's got a baby face.
Not a baby. I just think nice little face that also football neck.
I mean, he's also what, like 19, 18?
Yeah. 19. I can't get over that Peter Bork is older than Bryce Underwood.
Oh, that's insane.
That is so crazy.
That's wild.
Oh, you got merchandise on closeout sales. Understatement. I ran the liquidation. I bought stuff for $1. I robbed that place. He's a muscle hamster.
That's
who was that? Boise State, Tampa Bay. Somebody help me out. Muscle hamster. Running back. Same era as Trent Richardson, and he ended up being the better running back. I cannot think of it. Doug Martin.
Yeah.
You win the fake internet points.
Yep. Muscle hamster. That's such a good
nickname. Yeah.
How did I forget about that?
Built his current computer on stolen, liquidated Circuit City parts.
We're getting into the next new feature of the show. Let's name some guys.
I love that. You've seen the meme, right? Where kids can just sit around and say random football players' names all day. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Doug Martin, not Martian. We got the point. Doug Martian, though, that's fantastic as well. All right, football season's here. We're gonna try really, really, really hard every Sunday at 7 to have Hail to the Podcast be consistent for you. Make sure liking, subscribing, notification bell. You know the drill. If you're watching back on playback, please contribute in the comments. Be part of the conversation. If you want to be part of the conversation live, again, get that notification bell. Know when we go on. Dennis Fithian as well. Good afternoon, Michigan. All of our shows are fan-based. All of them are talking with you, interacting with you. I hope you guys feel that and get that vibe. That's what we're trying to do here. And it's the same thing over at Maize Blue Review, over at On3. I hate coming off like I don't know what the right word is, but the things On3 is doing right now. I know this sounds cheesy, like now's the time, guys. There's no better. I'm serious.
Yeah.
It is absolutely insane. Shannon Terry is got a plan and he is on fire. The college coverage that they had already with guys like Andy Staples and Ari, and then they're bringing in every week. There's another huge name. Josh Pate obviously just joined as well. The Rivals high school coverage and the recruiting coverage is through the roof. I as a fan, I catch myself because I have access to all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I catch myself. I get on the website to do some work and I'm reading all these other people's.
Yeah, you get distracted pretty easily.
It's awesome. It's awesome. There's so much stuff in one place. So
the bang for your buck is insane from a subscription level. And literally you could get access for $1 for $1. So you do get a lot of bang for your buck because it's $1 for a week to give us a shot. And you don't have to type in punch in any promo codes or anything like that. Just go to our site, create an account, subscribe to us, and you get your first week. That Mr. Martini, email or reach out to me on Twitter, or if you have my Twitter, or email me at joshuahenschke@gmail.com. Now I'm going to get like a whole bunch of emails.
Why would you do that?
Oh no, I don't care. It's my
it's
my email address, my Gmail. Who cares?
I think
email me.
Listed on the Twitter, so it's fine.
Yeah, email me or hit me up
or
on
DM
Twitter.
one of the Twitter accounts.
Yeah, we'll get you taken care of.
Actually, I'm glad you said that. If there is anybody watching, that I know the transition with everything moving over was tough, and we've tried really hard to make sure that we captured everybody. If there is anybody having login issues, please, myself, Josh, the Maize Blue Review account, get a hold of us. Let us know. We'll figure that out for you. Yeah. Make sure you can get in because you have access to all of the national college content on On3, all the national recruiting and high school coverage on Rivals, all the Michigan content, our message board, everything. It's quite a bit. Jason's losing.
That's an unfortunate autocorrect.
That's
too bad. No, I'm not going to repeat that.
Warhammer.
Oh no. Oh no, Jason. Oh, that's unfortunate.
That is.
Oh no.
Well, let's leave on that.
Yeah, reach out to us. We'll get you.
I said what I said.
You did say that. Indeed.
I stand on truth.
As they say, when it's on the internet, it's permanent. So that's permanent. He's going to double down. All right. Well, I'm glad that you've got that kind of coverage.
Was Double Down the name of that sandwich KFC had?
KFC, yeah, that they canceled.
Well, yeah, because who's like, it'd be better than buns.
Chicken in your chicken. It's like Exhibit. If we had Pimp My Ride. I know you liked speakers, so we put speakers on your speakers.
Yeah, you told us you're going to school to be a marine biologist. So guess what? The whole back of your car, fish, baby, fish tank,
salted fish. Heard you like chicken, so we're gonna put chicken on your chicken, in your chicken. With
that was my somewhat offensive Exhibit impression.
Oh man.
So I was just hoping my car could run, but thank you. Hey, I know you're a health freak. You like working out. You like smoothies. So guess what? Your transmission gone. No more shifter. It's a blender.
Yeah. You're going to be like the Flintstones. You just have to walk it. There's no floor. You have to pedal with your feet like the Flintstones.
Double Down was Trevor's high school. Whoops.
Nickname. Well, yeah, you hit the like button, though.
Please hit the like button, everybody. I am not telling you what my high school nickname was because it was terrible.
Oh boy,
it stuck with me for a lot of years. Is Waddy still in here? Because he'll post it if he is. I think he cut out probably. But anyway, all right. What is this? We're getting spam.
Spam from Twitch.
That's from Twitch. Look at that. Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. I've done all the sign offs without signing off, so that's good. We will be back next week. We're gonna be talking game prep, dude.
Yeah,
we're gonna be talking opponents, New Mexico, and then hopefully we have some answers, not just guesses on some of the depth chart we've talked about, although I think that's pretty clear. There it is. Shit. Shit.
He knows what it
is. All right, time to go. We'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, we get to stick to sports.
Yeah, football talk. Hey, we spent like an hour and 15
minutes. No, so I'm saying we finally get to stick to sports and not to worry about anything else. Oh no, my email that I barely ever use is going to get spammed with some weird newsletters. Oh no, whatever will I do? At least I didn't give you my phone number on the live. That would have been devastating. No offense, but I just
how is the viewership gone up? I don't understand you people.
Because they just enjoy they come for the BS and stay for the football talk and Circuit City discussion.
I still have plans to redo this area and have something in the display in the back, but Mr. MacDaddy and Mrs. MacDaddy, because I praised your jug you have in the background there. Mine's not life size, but check out what they got me.
That's sweet. I need to get myself one of those. Add it to the collection.
I'm thinking I'll put one of the mini helmets on there.
Yeah.
Gotta figure out his pants too, but good old Paul.
Yeah. I might get myself 4 pairs of gold pants.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh.
Put it on a display of toilet paper. Charmin.
There's so many references here that, well, Derek, Martini, Steve, we're just talking to you. You guys know what's happening right now. So, all right. Head to the podcast. We'll see you next week. Maize Blue review. Thank you.